Welcome. If you're joining us for this explainer today, chances are you or maybe someone you love dearly is navigating the deeply personal world of fertility care. And let's be honest, it can feel like a total maze, right? Just a wall of clinical terms, intense decisions, and a whole lot of unknowns. But today, we're going to slow things right down. We're unpacking the source material together to map out exactly what you need to know about fertility preservation. And don't worry, you absolutely do not need a medical degree for this, just a few minutes of your time. So, let's get into it.
So, are you thinking about your future family? Because that's really the heart of the matter here, isn't it? When we start planning for a family, especially when medical interventions enter the chat, feeling overwhelmed is completely normal. There is just so much information thrown at you. But I want to validate those feelings right now and, well, kind of offer a hand to hold as we walk through this. Whether you're actively trying to conceive right this second or you're looking, say, 5 years down the line, really understanding your options is the absolute best way to regain your peace of mind.
Okay, let's dive right into our primary focus, embryo cryopreservation. Now, I know, cryopreservation sounds like this heavy, almost sci-fi term, doesn't it? It sounds super complicated and maybe a little scary. But if we just strip away the medical jargon, it simply means the medical process of freezing and storing embryos for future use. That's literally it. It's this remarkable technology that essentially lets you hit the pause button on your future. It takes all that intense pressure off the present moment, giving you the space and the grace to build your family when the time is absolutely perfect for you.
And hey, if you're feeling a little hesitant, maybe wondering if this is some kind of experimental, out-of-the-ordinary process, let me stop you right there. The medical sources are super clear on this. They explicitly define embryo freezing as a crucial part of most IVF procedures. This is not some fringe path where you're walking alone. No way. It's a standard, highly regulated, and incredibly common part of modern fertility care. We're talking thousands upon thousands of people going through this exact same process every single year. It's a tried-and-true medical pathway, completely designed to give you the highest possible chances of success. So that naturally brings us to a really important question. Why do people actually choose to freeze embryos? Because, the medical mechanics are one thing, but the human element, that's what truly matters here. We're going to shift gears a bit and look at the deeply personal why behind this decision. Because no two fertility journeys are exactly alike, right? The reasons for stepping onto this path are as beautifully varied as the people taking it.
Let's just walk through some of these reasons because every single one of them is incredibly valid. First up, it offers another chance if an initial IVF cycle doesn't work out. IVF is a journey, and having frozen embryos acts as this really comforting backup plan. You don't have to restart the whole medical cycle from scratch. Then, there's saving embryos for later to have another baby, literally preserving your options to grow your family down the road. Another huge one is preserving fertility before starting serious medical treatments, like cancer therapies. It's a profound way to protect your future hopes while you focus on healing today. And finally, some folks choose this path to do something truly beautiful, like donating to someone else in a donor program, or donating for medical research to help others. Whatever your why is, it is completely respected and understood.
All right, so we've talked about the why. Now let's look at the how. I know glancing at medical protocols can cause your stomach to do a bit of a flip, but we're going to translate all this source material into a clear, super simple roadmap, step by step. We are keeping the medical jargon totally out of the way so you know exactly what to expect without feeling overwhelmed. Okay, here is step 1, which we like to call gentle preparation. The source breaks this down into 3 clinical concepts, so let's slowly translate them together. First is multiple follicle stimulation using FSH. Basically, FSH is just a hormone that tells your body to grow multiple eggs at once, instead of the usual single egg, just to give you the best possible options. Simple enough, right? Second is preventing a premature surge with a GnRH analog. Now, all that means is your care team uses a special medication to make sure your body doesn't release those eggs too early. It keeps everything perfectly coordinated. And finally, triggering ovulation. This is just the final, carefully timed signal to your body that the eggs are mature and good to go. It's really all about perfectly setting the stage. Actually, let me take a super quick pause right here to define a word you're going to hear a lot in clinics: oocyte. It's literally just the medical term for a woman's egg. When doctors or those glossy clinical brochures talk about oocyte retrieval, it sounds so clinical and foreign, doesn't it? But beneath all that heavy language, this is just about safely and gently retrieving your eggs. Keeping that simple definition in your back pocket really helps take the mystery out of the conversations you'll be having with your doctors.
Which brings us to step 2, creation and protection. The first part of this step is that oocyte, or egg retrieval we were just talking about.
Once the eggs are safely retrieved, the next thing is in vitro fertilization. This is where the egg is fertilized in the lab, using either a partner's sperm or donor sperm depending entirely on your specific family plan.
So, what exactly are cryoprotectants? Well, they're these special solutions applied to the embryo to protect it from any damage during the freezing process. And here's a really amazing fact from the source material. Because water expands when it freezes, which could easily damage delicate cells, these solutions actually replace the water inside the embryo, essentially turning the fluid into a safe, glass-like state. It's a process called vitrification. It is basically a high-tech protective shield, ensuring that when the embryos go into the deep freeze, they are completely safe and perfectly preserved.
And that leads us to a beautifully simple truth. Your embryos are safely stored at sub-zero temperatures. I mean, just take a breath and let that comforting thought settle in for a second. The medical steps are done, the protective shield is in place, and your embryos are securely preserved. They're just patiently waiting for you. They literally do not age. Time simply stops for them. You have successfully protected your options for the future.
So, with the preservation phase officially complete, we can kind of shift our mindset toward a really hopeful, optimistic outlook on what happens next. This is the transition from waiting to acting. When the time is right, whether that's, say, a few months after a medical treatment, or even years down the line when you decide you're ready to expand your family, what actually happens? Let's take a look at the final steps outlined in the source material.
The absolutely most crucial point to remember here is this: you are in total control. Whenever you are ready, these simple final steps kick in. First, the decision to use the embryo is made by you and your doctor. Next, that securely stored embryo is carefully thawed in the lab, and it emerges exactly as healthy as the day it was preserved. Pretty incredible, right? And third, implantation plans are formed to transfer the embryo to the uterus to try for a pregnancy. It is a gentle, straightforward process for when you decide it's time to grow your family.
So, we've walked through the what, the why, and the how. You now have a really clear understanding of embryo freezing, completely stripped of all that scary jargon. But you know, the most important takeaway from this explainer isn't just the science, it's the power of choice. By choosing to freeze time today, you're giving yourself the absolute greatest gift for tomorrow: options. The science is patiently waiting, the tools are right there. So, how will you choose to write your future?